Today is the 15th Sunday of Ordinary Time, Cycle C. Moses told the Israelites who were about to take possession of the land that God had promised them. If they obeyed God's commandments and statutes, they would enjoy blessings. However, disobedience would lead to curses. The law of the Lord, he says, is not high in the sky or far beyond the sea. It is already in their mouths and their hearts. In their mouths referred to the recitation and memorization during the oral tradition, the continuous recitation in group of the scriptures, as most people were illiterate. The oral tradition is that people recited by heart the traditions or the laws of the Lord. And in their hearts refer to the internalization and appropriation of the teachings. We have to reflect on the teachings of God, own them, and then act upon them. As the baptized, we also have the Spirit of God within us. When we have gone astray or lost spiritually and have suffered a reversal of fortune, we ought to turn back to God. Let us open our hearts and recognize His presence in our midst. He will bring us comfort and peace. In the gospel, we hear Jesus answer to the question, what must I do to inherit eternal life? Love the Lord with all your heart, with all your being, with all your strength, with all your mind, and your neighbor as yourself. How can you love God totally? The guidelines are the same for any relationship. Make spending time with the other a priority. Honest communication. Do not do anything that will offend or hurt the other. Avoid sin and live an ethical life. It would appear that daily prayer, communication with God is absolutely necessary. The other requirement for eternal life was love of neighbor. The Jewish notion of neighbor did not include enemies or foreigners. Jesus did not agree with this definition and therefore told his followers a parable. In the parable, there is a priest, a Levite, who is an assistant to the priest in the temple, an injured Jew, and a person from Samaria, a neighboring nation, and a people who the Jews disliked. This would have intrigued the crowd, who were ordinary Jews. Since Jerusalem was situated on Mount Zion, anyone coming down the road from Jerusalem would be going away from Jerusalem. You know, in a flat Florida, going up the road or down the road means the same thing. But in a hill country or mountainous country, going up the road and going down the road has a different meaning. You're going up, you're going to the top, down, you're leaving. Therefore, the priest and the Levite had already completed their duties in the temple. They were coming down the road. They were not able to rely on the excuse that to touch a dead man or blood would have made them ritually impure and therefore incapable of performing their duties. Along came the Samaritan who nursed the beaten victim, but also paid for a stay in the inn and promised to pay more if it was necessary. If the story is translated in our culture, you would be well-dressed, going to an important function like a wedding, and it's raining heavily. As you're driving, you notice that someone has had a bad bicycle accident and is lying at the side of a deserted road. What are you going to do? Are you and your new suit, new outfit, going to get wet? If you put the person in your new car, the seat of your new car will be wet and bloody. Would you be willing to help with other medical bills later and pay for those that are current? The Good Samaritan did all these things. As disciples of Christ, we are called to go beyond what is reasonable and normal. They will know that we are Christians by our love, a love that goes beyond the expectations of others. The golden rule is that we expect others to treat us as we would treat them. If you were the parent of the child in the bicycle accident, as a parent, would you be very grateful to the person who rescued your child? Surely you would thank God for such a compassionate person. Would you thank the person profoundly? So go and do what is right and just.